Stop. Listen. What burns behind you cannot become your future. God is speaking into this moment because too much is at stake for you to hear this casually. Genesis 19 is not a distant story for passive readers. It is a living alarm. It is a holy interruption. It is the sound of heaven breaking into the comfort of compromise and saying, not one more hour, not one more excuse, not one more backward glance. You have called some things normal that I already marked for judgment. You have called some places familiar that I already named dangerous. You have called some attachments harmless that were quietly training your heart to love what cannot survive where I am talking to you. So, I am not whispering today. I am sounding an alarm. I am your shelter. I am your warning. God says, I am your way forward. Do not soften this chapter to make yourself comfortable. Sodom was not merely a weak city in the past. It is a mirror, it is a sign, it is a testimony of what happens when corruption is no longer hidden, no longer resisted, no longer grieved, but celebrated, protected, and woven into the very rhythm of a place. And when I say place, I am not speaking only of geography. I am speaking of environments. I am speaking of patterns. I am speaking of inner rooms where compromise has been living rent free. Some of you are not in a city called Sodom, but you are sitting in a mindset like it. You are lingering in conversations that rot your discernment. You are keeping doors open that I have already told you to shut. You are preserving access to habits I pulled you out of because part of you still wants a little taste of what almost destroyed you. Hear me clearly. I do not call you out of out to shame you. I call you out to save you. My urgency is not anger without love. My urgency is love refusing to stay silent. When I sent the messengers a lot, the message was not complicated. It was not hidden in symbols. It was not wrapped in gentle vagueness. It was direct because destruction was near. Get up. Take your family. Leave. Do not stay where fire has already been assigned. This is the pulse of this word for you today. Leave what I am judging. Leave what I am exposing. Leave what I am collapsing. Leave what can no longer host your calling. Some seasons can hold delay without immediate consequence, but some moments are different. Some moments are narrow windows, some moments are rescue doors, and that do not remain open forever. You have been feeling that narrowing, haven't you? The same places that once felt manageable now feel heavy. The same patterns you once excused now feel costly. The same relationships you used to revisit now leave your spirit disturbed. That is not confusion, that is recognition. That is not random pressure, that is discernment waking up. Something in you already knows that this chapter is not just about ancient fire falling from heaven. It is about the holy emergency of living on time. It is about the danger of surviving the warning but ignoring the instruction. It is about the difference between being near rescue and actually moving into it. Many want deliverance as an idea. Few want deliverance as a command. But rescue always comes with movement. Rescue always comes with separation. Rescue always comes with obedience. Lot hesitated, do not move past this too quickly. He hesitated while judgment was near. He hesitated while mercy was active. He hesitated while angels were in the house. What a terrifying thing it is to be so close to rescue and still move slowly. And yet, many of you know exactly what that feels like. You pray for a sign, and when the sign arrives, you stall. You ask me to make the path clear, and when I do, you start negotiating. You say you want peace, but when peace requires departure, you suddenly become sentimental about change. And many of you know exactly what it feels like. You pray for a shine, and when the sign arrives, you stall and you ask me to make a clear path. And when I do, you start negotiating. You say you want peace, but when peace requires departure, you suddenly become sentimental about change. This is the spirit of lingering. It does not always look rebellious. Sometimes it looks thoughtful. Sometimes it looks emotional. Sometimes it looks practical. Sometimes it hides under the language of transition, timing, or closure. But at this core, lingering is the refusal to fully detach from what I have already declared unfit for your next season. That spirit is subtle. It whispers just a little longer. It says, "Let me live slowly." It says, "Let me keep one eye on where I am going and one eye on what I am losing." But a divided heart is never safe in a burning place. You cannot stand between judgment and destiny and exact peace. You cannot keep your body moving forward while your heart kneels at the altar of what I told you to abandon. Some of you think your greatest battle is with temptation itself. It is not. Your greatest battle is with nostalgia, toxic nostalgia, the kind that edits out the pain and glorifies the prison, the kind that makes slavery look stable, compromise look warm, and disobedience look emotionally honest. But nostalgia can be an idol when it persuades you to grieve what I rescued you from. Let me tell you why this matters so deeply. You cannot survive the new season while staying emotionally married to the old one. You cannot carry mountain air in lungs, still craving the smoke of Sodom. You cannot enter the place of cleansing while secretly longing for the contamination I removed. The future I have prepared for you requires more than movement of feet. It requires movement of affection. It requires movement of loyalty. It requires movement of sight. Because where your eyes go, your heart follows. And where your heart lingers, your strength drains. This is why the warning was so severe. Do not look back. Not because I was cruel, but because I was protecting them from paralysis. There are glances that cost more than people realize. There are looks that are not visual alone. They are conventional. They are emotional agreements. They are silent declarations that say, a part of me still belongs there. Some of you are asking why progress has felt slow, why your spirit feels split, why your prayers feel choked, why peace comes and goes so quickly. I will tell you why. You left physically, but you keep revisiting mentally. You walked out of the relationship, but your soul keeps turning around. You entered the habit, but your imagination keeps setting a table for it. You excited the toxic circle, but you still rehearse their voices like scripture. And you said goodbye outwardly, but inwardly you build a museum to your bondage. And then you wonder why joy feels fragile. My child, no one runs freely while carrying memorial stones for what almost buried them. No one climbs mountains while polishing the chains they were delivered from. This is why Genesis 19 begins like an alarm and not a lullaby. It is a rescue story, yes, but it is a rescue story with urgency. Mercy moved first because judgment was near. So, he hesitated while mercy was active. He hesitated while angels were in the house. What a terrifying thing it is to be so close to rescue and still move slowly. And yet, many of you know exactly what that feels like. You pray for a sign, and when the sign arrives, you stall. I need you to hear that with holy sobriety. Mercy does not always announce itself with softness. Sometimes mercy grabs your hand. Sometimes mercy interrupts your plans. Sometimes mercy ruins your comfort. Sometimes mercy closes doors you wanted to keep half open. When the angels took Lot and his family by the hand, that was not harshness, that was compassion in motion. That was heaven saying, your hesitation is too dangerous to manage by yourself. There are moments in your life when my kindness will feel like a pool. There are moments when grace will not merely invite, it will press, it will disrupt, it will not let you settle where your destruction has already been scheduled. And still, even then, many resist. Why? Because compromise zones create false belonging. People adapt to dark places. They build routines in them. They decorate them. They raise expectations inside them. They tell themselves they can manage the atmosphere as long as they stay alert. But no one lives long in compromise without becoming fluent in its language. Sodom had trained Lot's household more than Lot realized. That is why the exit was hard. What you normalize, you will defend. What you defend, you will struggle to live. What you struggle to live, you will already allow to shape you. So I am cutting deeper than behavior right now. I am reaching for allegiance. I am asking what in you still feels at home in the wrong place. I am asking you what in you still trembles at the thought of losing what I have already judged. Do not answer too quickly. Sit with that. Because many people think they want deliverance until deliverance threatens their attachments. They say, Lord, free me. But when they mean what they mean is free me without requiring separation. They say, let me out. But what they mean is let me out gently enough that I can still have wave to what I am living. But some exits cannot be gentle. Some thresholds are crossed while running. Some rescues come with the sentence, escape for your life. That is not drama. That is precision. That is justice protecting promise. Because if you linger where I have spoken the end, you will absorb the fallout of what you were born to live. Do not make peace with what I am ending. Do not build prayer around preserving what I have condemned. Do not ask me to bless your delay. Do not ask me to make your compromise comfortable. There are prayers I will not answer because they are really attempts to negotiate with fire. You want me to spare the thing that keeps pulling your eyes backward. You want me to leave standing with a place they thought you heard now to split itself. But I love you too much to reinforce your captivity. I love you too much to strengthen your attachment to a dying system. I love you too much to let you mistake patience and for permission. There was patience over Sodom. Was investigation over Sodom. There was mercy extended because of Abraham's intercession. But once that hour arrived, the command was not reflect, the command was run. Run, not because I delight in panic. Run, because I delight in preservation. Run, not because I have abandoned you, but because I am opening a path. Run, not because the mountain is easy, but because the place is doomed. You keep asking for a detailed map when I have already given you a direction. Forward, away, upward, separate. That is enough light for obedience. Some of you lose strength because you are waiting for full emotional agreement before you act. That day may not come. Obedience often begins while feelings are still behind. The righteous do not always move because everything in them feels clean and ready. Sometimes they move because they know delay has become more expensive than discomfort. And now God need to speak to the heart behind the hesitation. Some of you are not lingering because you love evil. You are lingering because you fear emptiness. You wonder what your life will feel like without the familiar chaos. You wonder who you will be when the unhealthy bond is broken, when the addictive cycle is interrupted, when the false identity collapses, when the old environment can no longer tell you who you are. You have lived so long reacting to darkness that you have forgotten how to stand in clean light. But hear me, emptiness is not what waits for you. Cleansing waits for you. Altitude waits for you. Breathe waits for you. Clarity waits for you. The mountain is not barren. The mountain is where your life is preserved. The mountain is where your hearing returns. The mountain is where your appetite is restrained. The mountain is where your future stops competing with your past. That is why this is a holy emergency, not because I am eager to scare you, because I refuse to let you slip through a rescue. There is a kind of delay that does not merely waste time. It multiplies damage, it blurs discernment, it weakens the will, it keeps the heart tied to what heaven has already left behind. Time is not neutral in moments like this. Time either deepens obedience or deepens entanglement. Time either clarifies your yes or strengthens your compromise. This is why the urgency belongs in this chapter. Justice is not merely destruction. Justice is separation. Justice is exposure. Justice is my refusal to let righteousness be buried inside a place that has chosen rebellion. So, listen carefully. I am not speaking to your fear. I am speaking to your future. I am not condemning your struggle. I am confronting your delay. I know why you hesitated. I know the mixture in your heart. I know the memories that lies, the unfinished conversations, the emotional fog, the strange pull of what once made you feel wanted, needed, seen, or soothed. I know all of it, but understanding your pain does not cancel the comment. Compassion does not erase the clock. Mercy does not remove the need for movement. In fact, mercy is the reason the warning came before the fire reached you. Mercy is the hand on your arm. Mercy is the voice saying, this way. Mercy is the holy refusal to let you call your prison home one more day. There are people hearing me right now who are standing in the doorway of their next season, but they keep decorating the exit instead of crossing it. You keep trying to make the threshold comfortable. You keep asking for one more sign, one more confirmation, one more conversation, one more emotional release. But the word for you in this hour is not one more. It is enough. Enough revisiting, enough romanticizing, enough turning around in your spirit, enough grieving that I did not ask you to preserve. Enough treating the ashes of your old bondage like sacred ground. Ashes are not altars. Ruins are not assignments. Smoke is not direction. What is behind you may be loud, but it is not Lord. What is behind you may be familiar, but it is not your inheritance. If you like this video, please share and subscribe with your friends. Thank you so much.